Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Bowen, Manakam. Very good day for all the students, those who are doing G.C.E all-over examination 2020. And my dear students, that I know you all suffer with some abnormal problem, but you don't need to worry because we have to overcome all the problems. I am Mohamed from Zonal Education Office, Kalutara. I currently act as in-service advisor for the science. I would like to help you to do some of your lessons. Today we are going to start a lesson, one of the very big lesson in your syllabus. I think you all don't have started this lesson in your school. That is biological process in human body. Actually, it is difficult to do all the lesson in the one day or one presentation. One by one, I already published 3 presentations in Tamil. I hope to publish this first lesson, biological process in human body, especially for the digestion of food. It is one of the system, the digestive system. You should understand what is digestion. As you know, children, we are having different foods for day by day. Some foods are carbohydrates, some are protein, some are lipids. Those are complex molecules. You know that what is the purpose of we are having food? Is main purpose is that we need energy for our day-to-day living process. Then all the food should be converted to the simple molecules, which can absorb by our blood. You know that then we should know what is the process of digestion. The process of digestion, I'll highlight here. Look at it. What is process of digestion? The process of digestion is we can consider as the process by which complex organic compound. What are the complex organic compound? Carbohydrate, proteins, and lipids. Mainly those are the very complex organic compound are converted into simple organic compound. We absorb into the human body is called as digestion of food. Now what is digestion of food? We need some simple compound which can absorb by our blood. Then we are having the food those are very complex compound. The process is that all the complex organic compound which is converted into the simple organic compound is called as digestion process. I will again, the process by which complex organic compounds are converted into simple organic products to be absorbed into the human body especially by the blood is called as digestion of food. Then there are 2 types of digestion of food. The one is mechanical digestion, other one is chemical digestion. I will explain like this one. We know that we all have teeth. Now what is the function of the teeth? We are chewing the food and we divide into several parts of the food by our mouth. That is called as mechanical digestion. As you know, in our saliva, there is an enzyme we call amylase. You know that those amylase can convert that carbohydrate as into maltose. That is a chemical digestion. You should know, children, that there are 2 types of digestion process. That one is mechanical digestion, other one is chemical digestion. We will discuss in detail later what is mechanical digestion and what is chemical digestion. Now we are going to study about human digestive system. You know, the digestion process is occur in our human digestive system. Now what is digestive system? Now you know that what is the function of the digestive system? Our main function of the digestive system is, you should know that these are the main function. What is the main function? Food digestion. Number 1, food digestion. What is food digestion mean? Convert the complex molecules into simple molecules. What is second function? Absorption of digested end product and removal of undigested material. You should know, children, that there are three functions. One is food digestion, other one is absorption, and removing the undigested food. Then I'll explain it again. The main function of our digestive system is, number one is food digestion, other one is absorption of digestive end products and removal of undigested material. You should take down those notes. What is the function? Sometimes you may be asked, what is the function of digestive system? Food digestion, absorption of digested product, and removal of undigested materials. And we will discuss now what is our digestive system. You see that I'll show you what are the parts of our digestive system one by one. This is, you see, children, that very important one. This is our mouth cavity. You see, this is our mouth cavity. It's a main part of our digestive system. You know that what are the things there for the digestion? There are two digestive processes happening here. I will discuss later. One is mechanical digestion and chemical digestion. We have teeth that and also a salivary gland. From the salivary gland, from our saliva, there is an enzyme called amylase. We will discuss later what is the function of that one. And also that there are two mechanical processes and chemical processes happening in our mouth cavity. We will discuss later. And what is the next part of our digestive process? That is esophagus. You will learn later, and you know that there is no digestion process happening in our esophagus. I'll take a little enlarge this one. You see, there is no digestion process here, where this is our esophagus, which is come from our buccal cavity. There is no digestion in our esophagus. Therefore, you should know, sometime you may ask in your exam, what is the part of the human digestive system where mechanical or chemical digestion does not occur. Then your answer should be esophagus. You should know the parts of digestive system, you should know the functions of digestive system, and also here you should know other parts of digestive system. Look at this diagram very closely. This is liver, and liver is actually very close to one part of the digestive system. That is, we will discuss later what is the function of liver. And gallbladder is there, and very important one, stomach. Stomach, you know that this is the stomach. I'll see you by this one. You see that this is the stomach, and also we have some here in the pancreas, which is secreted. Some pancreas is used in small intestine, and we have small intestine here. This is small intestine. And this is the large intestine, and this is you see that this one is appendix, and this is a large intestine. Finally, intestine is rectum and anus. Undigested food removed from the anus. Then I'll explain again what are the parts of our digestive system. This is mouth cavity. Number one is mouth cavity. You see, this is mouth cavity, and also in mouth cavity we have salivary glands. And also epiglottis is there, that is common for the respiratory system and digestive system. We will discuss later. And esophagus, there is no digestion over there. And diaphragm, we will discuss in our respiratory system. What is the function of diaphragm? Actually, it is separate our digestive abdomen from the chest. That is the main function of diaphragm. We don't need to discuss it later. We will discuss it later. And the stomach, we will discuss what is the function of stomach later. And also this pancreas and gallbladder is there, large intestine is there, and small intestine is also there, appendix is there, rectum and anus. Now children, that we will discuss what is the digestion in buccal cavity. What is the digestion in buccal cavity? You know our buccal cavity made up with, there are two. The buccal cavity is made up upper and lower jaws, and teeth are present in both jaws. Then what is the main function of our teeth that you should know? What is the main function of our teeth that should know? That it is the main function of our teeth is that that is the mechanical digestion, which already mentioned you. And it is and also we have tongue. It is very important to for the feeling the sweet taste, And a main digestion process, that chemical digestion, which is happening in that where I mean that in buccal cavity, is that starch convert as a maltose by thiolene, or another name is amylase enzyme. That's the main function of that buccal cavity. You see, this is a part of our buccal cavity. You can see the mouth cavity is there, pharynx is there, epiglottis is there, food bowels. You see the nasal cavity is there. Nasal cavity not belong to the buccal cavity, and this is the buccal cavity. And what is happening? Teeth are there. Teeth, by the teeth we have a mechanical digestion by amylase or thiolene enzyme. All the most of the carbohydrate, or all, convert as the maltose. Now we will discuss the esophagus. As I mentioned, this is a function of esophagus. Passes through the esophagus. There are muscles. You know that muscle. The peristaltic movements. What does peristaltic movement mean? It is same. Look at this diagram. You see this. You see this diagram. That here, what is happening here? This is a food. This is food. Move by this for the esophagus. What is the process? That is this peristaltic movements. That there are some special muscle for that. The muscular structure have to pass the food from buccal cavity to the stomach. That is the main function of esophagus. And also what is happening in digestion in stomach. Very important things you should know. Your food remain long time in your stomach. In your stomach, what is happening? The stomach secrete the juice we call it as gastritic juice. What's the name of that? It's important for gastritic juice. This gastritic juice contain mainly two parts. One is hydrochloric acid. Other one is what is hydrochloric acid? You will learn later. You know that you are familiar with hydrochloric acid in your grade 10 lessons. And also there is an enzyme called pepsin. That's an enzyme, pepsin. Actually, what is the function of the pepsin? The pepsin is help the protein digestion. You know, some of your food have contained protein. What is happening is that this pepsin convert protein to the polypeptide. You should know what is happening by pepsin. The pepsin convert protein into polypeptide. Then what is the function of hydrochloric acid? Actually, it gives the acidic medium. You know, children, that acidic medium helps to kill unwanted germs in your digestive system. Sometimes some germs may be enter with your food. Actually, this acidic medium, it will be help to kill those germs, and this will be the acidic medium for the digestion. That is the main function of hydrochloric acid in gastritic juice. Do you know, children? Other one is there are you know that the muscles, these muscles in stomach, it is continuously helps to mechanical digestion also, because by the mechanical digestion it mixes well and broken down the food into different pieces, and we call it as chyme. And actually the mechanical digestion is also happening in digestion process. Then you move in buccal cavity, there are small mechanical digestion, that is all the carbohydrate, most of the carbohydrate converting to maltose, some of carbohydrate, sorry. And also in your stomach, that pepsin convert protein to the polypeptide. That is the main function of the pepsin. In children, there is another hormone we call it as renin. Renin also do the same function in it is infants causes coagulation of the milk. And you know that that is a function of small intestine. You know, children, that our small intestine, it's a large structure. It has 7-meter long structure. I will discuss later why it should be 7-meter long structure, small intestine. And it's a C-shape. The small intestine, the paroxysmal part of the small intestine is C-shape. You know, we call it as duodenum. Then you look at this diagram and everything. What is the function of a small intestine system? There are two juices. One is the pancreatic juice secreted into the duodenum, and also from the duodenum there is it is secreted some enzymes. I will discuss later. And from the liver, the bile contained bile pigments also come to the small intestine. Then what are the enzymes there which we should discuss? You know that the pancreas juices contain two types of enzyme. Wait for a while, I'll mark you that this, you see, this is the pancreatic juice. It contains, what are the enzymes? There, trypsin and amylase and lipase. What is the function of trypsin? The function of trypsin is that, what is function? You see that the function of trypsin is that protein convert as polypeptide. And also, what is the function of starch? The amylase starch contain that convert as maltose. What is the function of lipase? The lipids convert as fatty acid and glycerol. I'll explain it again. That there is in our pancreas is created juice in our small intestine. That is called as pancreatic juice. It is contain trypsin, amylase and lipase. Then it contain three types of substance. It is act on three types of substances. Trypsin act on protein, convert polypeptide like pepsin in our stomach. The amylase, it is convert starch into maltose, and lipase convert lipid into fatty acid and glycerol. And also, children, that our small intestine, we call it as from our small intestine, they are secreted a juice, we call it as intestinal juice. The intestinal juice contain 4 enzymes. What are the 4 enzymes? Maltase. You know that, can you remember that thiolin and amylase, which thiolin and amylase is actually same, in our stomach and our buccal cavity, thiolin change that carbohydrate maltose. This maltose, the enzyme which is secreted by small intestine, the maltase convert maltose into glucose. This is the end product of our digestion process, is glucose. And also there is an enzyme called sucrase. There are disaccharide sucrose. The sucrose convert as glucose and fructose. These also are monosaccharide. You know, you already studied in your grade 10 unit 1. And lactase converts the lactose into glucose and galactose. Peptidase, can you remember what is dipeptin? Peptin change in stomach protein into polypeptide, and trypsin also change protein into polypeptide. Those all polypeptide change convert as amino acid by peptidase enzyme. I'll explain it again. There are 3 main organs in our small intestine. One is pancreas secreted pancreatic juice, and small intestine secreted as intestinal juice. This is trypsin change protein into polypeptide. Amylase change starch into maltose. The lipase change lipids into fatty acid and glycerol. You should know, students, that very important, almost in your all exam they are asking one of these enzymes every year. Therefore, you should very familiar with this chart. And also, the maltase in small intestine, it's created intestinal juice is convert maltose into glucose by maltase, and also sucrose convert as glucose and fructose by sucrase enzyme. The lactase enzyme change lactose into glucose and galactose. You already familiar with this in your grade 10 level. Therefore, I don't like to explain furthermore about this one. And peptidase enzyme change all polypeptide into the amino acids. Then you should know, children, that what is the final product of this digestion process. What is the final product? It's all the carbohydrate convert as monosaccharide. What are the monosaccharide? You will already studied in your grade 10 lesson. Those are glucose, fructose and galactose. These are the monosaccharide. You already have studied in your grade 10 lessons, unit 1, glucose, fructose and galactose. Then all the protein is converted as what? All the protein is converted as amino acids. All the lipids are converted what? fatty acid and glycerol. All that lipids are converted as fatty acid and glycerol. These are the end product of digestion. This carbohydrate is a complex molecule, but glucose, fructose, galactose, those are simple molecules. Protein is a complex molecule, but amino acid is a simple molecule. Lipids is a complex molecule, but fatty acid and glycerol are simple molecule. What happened to this digestion process, digestion of food? Actually, we have look at this diagram very closely. This is our small intestine part. We call it as villi in our small intestine. These villi, look at this diagram of these villi. There are blood capillaries and epidermal cells are there, and also lacteals are there. Actually, from the lacteals, all the fatty acid and glycerol are absorbed, but other two, all monosaccharide, glucose, fructose, galactose, and amino acids are absorbed by these blood capillaries in our villi. Actually, also it is divided to microvilli. That's a very big structure. You know that I already mentioned this 7-meter long our small intestine. It is helpful for our digestion process, because when it is long, it is given sufficient time to absorb the food. And also, what are the things absorbed by blood capillaries? These are the things absorbed by our villis. What are the things absorbed? You see that number one is that, wait for a while, I'll give some time. And what are the things absorbed by this? These are the things absorbed by our villis. Those are the things. What are the things? Number one, amino acids. Number one, amino acids and vitamins and mineral salts and monosaccharide. What are the things absorbed by our villis, by blood capillaries? Amino acids, vitamins and mineral salts and monosaccharide, glucose, galactose and fructose. As I mentioned earlier, this structure, the lacteal, it is absorbed fatty acid and glycerol. And then undigested, what is happening in large intestine? Large intelline's main function is that 1.5 meter small structure. Large intestine is a 1.5 meter. Compare with that small intestine, it's a small structure. And also it is absorbed the large amount, reabsorb the large amount of water, and it remove the undigested food from anus. That is the main function of large intestine. Then now we will discuss what are the diseases associated with this digestive system. What are the diseases? It is very important. We know gastritic. Then what are the main cause for the gastritic? Is that disease? This is very general among our Sri Lankan people. That what are the symptoms? Are there the regulation of acid to the mouth, and burning feeling and pain in the stomach, and when it is become worse, it may be cause ulcer. It is a little bit not a good situation, and even bleeding may be taken place from your ulcer if it is come to the worst situation. What are the reasons for this gastritic condition? You should know, children, that very important. You should follow the good health habits. Number one, you don't ever skipping your meals. You take your meal on time. That is skipping of meals. Consumption of acidic and spicy food. Then you should avoid acidic and spicy food. And very important, you should tell your fathers and elders avoid from smoking and alcohol. That is also called digestive food. You know, these days the corona disease is spreading all over the world. The doctors are requested to ban the smoking. Actually, smoking is main cause for the lot of diseases, and we will discuss later, even in the respiratory diseases. And the other one is very important one, children, mental stress. You should avoid the mental stress. Some students may think, what happened to my O-level and everything is here. You don't think anything, because everything I am helping you. There are a lot of people you help. Therefore, don't think don't worry you. Somebody is there to help you. Government will also be help you. Therefore, don't take any mental stress, because mental stress causes gastritic, not of the gastritic problem, but also there are some other problems we will discuss later, even the heart diseases. Then constipation, the next one. The constipation is the disease, difficulty with the defecation due to the hardening of fecal matter. Actually, it is very difficult to remove undigested from through the anus. What are the main reasons for the constipation? There are three reasons: consumption of food with low dietary fibers. We should take fibrous food, especially vegetables and fruit like anise like pineapple and good mangoes, and you should take some fruits with fibrous fruits, and and also, as I mentioned earlier, the vegetable is very important. It is very helpful to reduce your constipation. And also, very important one, take sufficient amount of water. You should require to good volume of water. You should always take sufficient amount of water. The other one is that postponing defecation. If you want to the washroom, always you should do that on time. Don't postpone anything, because it will cause some diseases. And there is another disease, that's typhoid fever. We call it as it is caused by bacteria, the Salmonella typhi. It is come from some kind of that food and water. Therefore, you always should consume good food and good water, which is clean and very healthy food. And clean food is very important, because it is even that it can be damage your blood capillaries and your digestive system. Therefore, you should control. That is called by the bacterium that called as Salmonella typhi. What are the function? What are the symptoms of that? Pain in the arms, legs, headache, fever are the main symptoms. What are the pains? The main pain in arms, legs, headache, and fever are the main symptoms. So this gradually becomes worse if constipation can occur initial stage. Later that you will be suffering with different disease, different pains. Therefore, you should avoid having uncontaminated water and contaminated food. You should be always remember you should have good food and good water. The diarrhea is caused by, sometimes it caused by viruses, or sometimes it caused by bacteria, some parasite, for example, maybe that amoeba, proteus, like that one. Then that is actually transmitted from phases of an infection person. The main symptoms of the fecal matter is liquid state. You know that one. The fecal matter is become as liquid state, and also pain in the abdomen, and dehydration is occur. When you have a dehydration, you have sometimes to go to a doctor, having some G.C.E, some other things for your health. And also, what are the things you should follow that avoid from those diseases, as I mentioned earlier? Always consumption of boiled water. Boiled water is very important, my children. It is very, very important. You must have boiled water. And remove the fly breeding places, because that Salmonella typhi and those maybe come to the flies, come by these flies, and you should avoid the fly breeding place in your area. Avoid the consumption of food which are sold open places, that is very important. Use the water in sealed drinks, and also wash your hands well. These days we are discussing wash the hands because of avoid from the corona disease. That is because we should wash. And also get a vaccine for the typhoid. That's a vaccine for the typhoid. We must take the vaccine for the typhoid. That is very important. Thank you very much, children. I hope to come with you another lesson in coming days. Thank you for listening to me, and you all are welcome. Goodbye.